Hi, it's David here with Futures Trading. We got 233 subscribers. We thank you for coming on board. Since the last video, we had 227. So again, we welcome you. You're here because we care. All right, someone hit the like button to show that they care. So if you don't mind, align yourself to that goal. Share the information. Hit the like button. Let someone know that this is a place of education. We're not here to entertain you. We're not here to entice you in any kind of way to be a trader because you can end up in financial ruin. And the goal of the channel is actually to make sure that you become consistent. All right. That's really important that you know that and that we want to make sure that you're cared for while you're here. So if you don't mind, align yourself to that goal. We're trying to get our likes up on each video to at least 10. So if you can help us along here, it'll be greatly appreciated because we're looking for professional traders. All right. Not just traders, but professionals, those that don't mind showing the polite etiquette towards others that's in their field. Really important that you understand that. All right. So we're glad that you're here. This can be a pivotal moment for you because it's fate that brought you here. We can assure you of that. There's no deceptive behavior. We don't buy subscribers or likes. We don't do that. We want you to see the development of the channel. So every video, I try to show you what the subscribers are. And then, of course, after the video, the thumbnail is of the chart that we went over. So we're not trying to entice you here. Absolutely not. All right. So all about universal. That's the main thing that I want you to know. Now, since of course, since the last video, since the last video on yesterday, I've been, of course, approached about Fibonacci. Fibonacci. I don't use fibs. I don't use fibs. I don't use projections as such. I try to give it an account for what the market's mind is telling me, because in the mind of an individual, you have the end in mind whenever you make a choice, and the market is a place of decision. Someone thought of the market, and so they have an end in mind. And so whoever's in the market for that day, they have an end in mind. And I'm gonna try my best to show you that currently right now for right about 10 minutes. It won't take long, I can assure you. I actually just getting home from the ER. I was there, and I'm home now for about an hour, and I had to draw up this chart. So it took about 30 minutes before me even delivering this content. I'm committed to caring. I want you to know this. This is not the first time I've done this. I had surgery, and I said it in another video. I had surgery and came home and did a video. I'm trying to share information. And of course, the conversation that, now I'll just say this and then we can move on. The conversation about the fibs, it kind of drifted into wanting to know the logic behind the trend that I'm disclosing. There's no professional that does something for a living that's going to tell you absolutely everything for free. I want you to understand something. I try to disclose as much as I possibly can at no cost to anyone. And I've even suggested several times over for those that have inquired about education beyond here, to make sure you understand what's on the channel before we even go that far, because that can probably remedy. And I got the emails approving, and they do too. That can probably remedy what it is that you're dealing with, and you may find that you don't need to go that way. So I'm not here for that. I've already ran a company on the line, and I'm fine without doing that. I got out of that space. I did, and so I'm trying to be what I would have wanted to see in the world. I'm trying to do that, and I'm trying to encourage others to do the same. That's why I'm telling you to hit the like button, show somebody else you care, because it's really important that we care about one another. The world is full of people that feel like they're entitled to others' best. So if you don't want to give your best, but you want somebody else to give their best to you, that's your character. You got a character issue. Now, of course, I'm not licensed therapist or psychologist, if you will. Now, I do take an interest in that type of literature, but I'm not that guy, so I can't necessarily diagnose you with anything. But I can honestly say that's a character flaw, and you may want to do something about it. And I can suggest a couple books to be quite honest with you. But I would just say, if you don't mind, take a moment, and just try to be what you would want to see in the world. Really important that you do that. Now, you're more than welcome to use whatever it is that you want to use in your trading. All right. So you're welcome to do just that. All right. So to, I don't want anyone here to put aside what they already know. All right. And just because I don't use it, don't mean that you can't profit from it. Now, let me grab another tab real quick. I did that video yesterday, and they made the distance of all of those markets, YM, ESCL, and GC. I won't click on that because that conversation was on that video, and I don't want to do that. I don't do that. I want to keep that private, away from here. All right, don't now you want to go over there and take a look, totally up to you, but I don't want to expose anyone in that capacity. I'm not here for that. Just want to make sure that everyone knows that I'm not here to deter you from what it is that you know. All right. So whatever it is that you know, and I stated that very plainly to the individual that I may not be, of well, the channel. I said the channel may not be of use to you since you do not trade trends. But I told the individual, of course, that I celebrate the fact that you're profiting, and that's all that matters. Really simple. As most professional as I possibly can, I'm happy for anyone that can profit. It doesn't matter whether or not you use what's here, which again, they never viewed anything on the channel. So I'm just happy that anyone profits. Really important that we all understand that, but I guess it got lost in translation. And so now I guess the individuals don't want to even be a part of the which I don't think they were ever on the channel anyway, but they don't want to be a part of the Twitter, which is fine. I'm not a social guy anyway. I don't know if you guys can tell. I don't really get into this stuff. Again, I already had all this and I took it down. I'm a private individual. I'm actually trying to make sure that this is just a library so you guys can come and learn. All right. And get what you need out of trading. Now let's take a look at some of this information, then I will let you guys go. But again, use whatever you want to use. So if you don't want to use seven, I can't reveal the logic as to why I use seven, but if you've been trading for any amount of time, you'll see that the market behaves a certain way. It's just like us. When we have a thought, we have the end in mind. And someone created this whole back and forth process here, and I don't leave that off the table. I understand that that's what's happening. I'm trying to introduce that to you guys, all right, at no cost. What it would cost you is to trust the market. Just trust it. Go back, look at the chart. Don't trade it right away. Just look at it and see, can you trust what it's telling you? That's all. Not me. All right. I really want to make sure that I say that I'm not the one that you would have to trust. Trust the market. That's the whole reason why I won't have a constant presence, if you will, on the channel. I'm going to be reframing my uploads come January because you don't need that. The information is robust enough on its own that you don't need me to constantly make a bunch of videos reiterating the same material. And I refuse to go pull out a bunch of indicators and try to tell you to look at price in a whole bunch of different ways. I'm not doing that. So what you're seeing now is I'm trying to unveil to you the logic behind how it is that I approach markets, and it's based on the mind. It's not just open high lows and close. I said it in the last video. We got 26 letters in the alphabet. The average person speaks at least 7,000 words a day, and yet people fail to, of course, understand one another. The market has open, high, low, and close. That's roughly four. That's like the alphabet, and then it multiplies itself. The most important thing that you really need to take away from the market is the message. Don't let that get left out. So the cost of the trend, let's dive into it. The cost of the trend is important. So here's the first attempt to move down. All right, now here's your first attempt to move up. Now I made these, of course, attempts. All right, and because that's the second time it tried, and it's fairly early. You don't know what else is coming. But now you're working on the third time that it's trying to move down. Here's the interesting thing about it. They're not getting past the cost of the thought. Really important that you understand it because we are, living our lives based on perspective for the most part. And there's primary and then there's secondary. And so the primary thing is the thing that's highest ranked. And I want you to understand that. So when you have something that's ranking very high, everything else is kind of second or below, right? So when you get the cost of the thought and they're not wanting to spend absolutely no time down here, I think that there's a chance. There's a chance they may be going that way. So now let's take a look at this. I'm gonna compress this a bit. And they're starting to make the distance on the upside. Now I counted this because they came more than halfway to it. And that's after they made the seven and pulled back. I don't know if you're paying attention to any of this, but typically after they make the trend distance, well, the trend, they tend to RTM. After they make the trend, they tend to go the other way. After they make the trend, they didn't even attempt to go the other way. That can tell you something. All right. Remember primary and secondary values. All right. So now you get the center of the trend, the cost of the thought, and then they get really busy up here, just really busy. And then they had a failed trend distance. But is it really? And I put that question mark there. Why? Because the trend distance here, we're actually a lot closer than we were before. All right. So we're actually a lot closer. Now, this is the fourth time they've reached down, and now they're having a problem with getting past this trend that was set again. All right. So now they're having a problem with spending any time beneath here. any time beneath here. They're having a bit of a problem. All right. Just want you to understand that. And so here's trend distance failure number five, but it's for a problem because again, we're closer to the first. We're closer to that one. All right. So I want you to begin to look at the market if you don't mind. If you don't mind, I just want you to look at the market based on thought, action, habit, character, destiny. Because when you have the thought, you have your end in mind. You do. And so you can use whatever you would like to use to get to the destination. Really important that you know that the world, mostly every business in the world, is built off complaints. Okay. And they can profit from it. Okay. So, well, you complaining and they can profit. That's how it works. That's mostly every business model in the world is built off that. Now, here's the problem with complaints and needs because when you have a need and someone can satisfy the need, that's problem solving. And so there's value. Complaints typically are irritants to an individual. It's a little different than a need, just a little bit different because it affects you in a way that you, it's a level of, I don't even know why this is happening to me. That's what an irritant is. It's like, I wish I can get this, to stop. And it's not even a need. It's again, it's something that it's almost in most cases, a level of inequality that's taking place. There's a level of mistreatment there. Okay. It's not necessarily a need. So when someone, oftentimes, if there's a complaint, there's a level of inconsideration. There's something taking place there that's not necessarily just based on need. Now I do understand again that problem solving establishes worth. I totally get that. But whenever you look at the market and you go to place trades, I do want you to kind of keep this in mind. And I'm not going to dive too far into that side of it, but I want you to keep this in mind that whatever you complain about, someone else is profiting. And so that's important that every day that you spend your time doing this, I don't want it to be that you're complaining, that you're having to complain. And so I try to make available to you some information without disclosing and compromising the time and of course the effort that I put into me becoming the educator and the professional trader that I am. I don't want to tell you everything I know. That violates my rights and of course the rights of others that have spent their time with me. I don't want to do that. And so I try to give you information that I can say, hey, this is reasonable to do, and it shouldn't interfere with what it is that you already may be doing. And if you find yourself trying to trade this stuff and it's not working for you, just trade what it is that you've been trading long before you came to the channel. The goal is to just give you something that can help kind of bring about a foundation that will kind of stabilize whatever it is that you have going on, not to remove what it is that you know. What it is that you know is what you know. That can never be taken away from you. I'm trying to encourage you just to begin to look at the market in a very systematic approach because it's a behavior. Everything that's involved with human choice. People can say that the market have, of course, the high frequency, the algos. Well, they got to get a quant developer to develop it, and the quant developer is told an objective. I need this to happen, and so his instructions is handed to him, and then he go and implement the mathematics, if you will, to accomplish what the request is. And so it's still translated from somebody wanting an objective met. And so when you look at the market, you need to understand what that is and then how the developer, the quant developer, gets to the chart and he's dealing with numbers. So pick whatever numbers you want. You're more than welcome to pick whatever numbers you want, use whatever indicator you would like to use, totally up to you. I'm just trying to make you aware of some information that I'm privy to, and then hopefully it'll help you in your trading. And I wish you all the best with it. All right, so take care.